I call to order the Wickliffe City Council Meeting of January 14th, 2019. Sandy, please call the roll.
Biandolillo?
Present.
Bogo?
Present.
Jaworski?
Here.
Koski? Here. Levon?
Here.
Sakis?
Here.
Saloto? Here.
Approval of council minutes.
Make a motion. Second.
Moved by Councilman Bogo, seconded by Councilman Biandolillo to approve the council meeting minutes of December 17th, 2018. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biandolillo?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto? Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the organizational meeting minutes of January 7th.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jaworski, seconded by Councilman Biandolillo to approve the organizational meeting minutes from January 7th, 2019. Discussion?
Do we need to Maria abstain?
Can we remove those? Can we remove those?
I remove my motion.
Move my motion. I remove my motion.
Move your second.
I make a motion to allow Maria Salado to abstain from voting on the organizational meeting minutes of January 7th.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Koski, seconded by Councilman Biandolillo to allow Councilwoman Saloto to abstain from the meeting, for the voting on the meeting minutes of January 7th, 2019. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biandolillo?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto?
Abstain.
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
the motion for, I'm sorry. How was it?
I make a motion to adopt the organizational meeting minutes of January 7th.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Koski, seconded by Councilman Jaworski to approve the organizational meeting minutes from January 7th, 2019. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Biandolillo?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Koski?
Yes.
Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto?
Abstain.
Reports and communications from the Mayor, Safety Director.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I'd like to give an update on the city-owned Lloyd Road property. Now, Council and I had a few discussions during executive session the past few months, but earlier in the year we had an opportunity which included the city-owned Lloyd Road property and local company coming in to build a new facility on the site. And for the past few months, a lot of the directors and I and Monica Drake, the economic developer, had met and discussed details and timelines. Last Monday, I received a phone call from the CFO that upon review of recently obtained final construction projections, the cost was too great for them to move forward at this time with the project. Very unfortunate conversation. We had spent a lot of time, and it was a very good opportunity for the city, but unfortunately everything we did, it just did not work at this time. While this is unfortunate, I feel we now understand the process better. It was, any projections would have been done through enterprise zone, through the county. The Port Authority was helping us with that as well. And we know we have a viable chunk of land over there. It's about 12 acres that other folks have shown interest in as well. So again, while it was unfortunate, I think we're better prepared for any opportunities that come forward. Streetlight improvements with the NOPEC grant. The first part of the grant, $24,000, is going to replace 77 streetlights on Euclid Avenue from the high pressure sodium to the LED. And this will save us about $8,000 per year. I want to thank the service director, D'Ambrosia, for getting all this lined up. And this is the first step in replacing, hopefully, all of the street lights throughout the city the next couple of years. Instant Connect, I know I've talked about this in the past. That's the phone system. It's the same program the school district uses. It is currently up and running, and the link should be on the city site fairly soon here, and I'll email that to council as well. It's going to be in the Wickliffe Connection, where folks can start signing up for that. There's going to be options to sign up for general city updates. For example, information on pools, leaves, events, road closures, construction, and then also ward-specific updates as well. People want to get general updates, and then if they want to get specific updates to their ward. And just like with the school, if anybody's familiar with that, you can sign up to get emails, phone calls, and/or texts. And I'll use obviously emergencies would be phone calls and texts. Non-emergencies, we can send emails at actually no cost. So I'll probably do some kind of monthly update of just what's going on in the city or anything they need to be aware of. Economic developer Drake and I met with the school board on Friday just to update them with our CRA, the Community Reinvestment Area process. And I've talked about that a few times in the past. She's running with that now. The cannabis facility received its official license, I believe it was just yesterday, so you may see something in the News Herald. They had reached out to me for a comment earlier. So I think they should be up and running within a few weeks. I would say if you do get concerned phone calls, I told the reporter the same thing, remind residents that areas that have cannabis programs, fairly quickly they see a reduction in opiate overdoses, a reduction in alcohol consumption and related activity, a reduction in traffic accidents, and several other positive impacts. So just remind them of other areas that have done this in the past, and obviously everyone's going to be keeping a close eye on it, being that it's a new program for the area. And that is everything I have tonight.
Any questions or comments from the Mayor, Safety Director? Councilman Sakis.
Mr. Mayor, so I wasn't even aware of this, so I got 3 phone calls over the weekend.
Okay.
I didn't even notice it, that the senior center sign was changed to Wickliffe Community Center.
Correct.
And so the questions were, is it gonna affect funding? Will the rules be changed or the structure be changed of how things are run?
No, really nothing's going to be changed, and the reason I did that, it may seem a little ridiculous, but I think we've had the community in general has had the mentality that it's only for the seniors. And then other demographics feel that they can't go there because if they haven't been there before, they think it's strictly a senior center. And we have a lot of things going on there in the evenings for other folks in the community, but I was at an event for a family that was having some folks in town, and there was a lot of them in the city that had never been there before. So part of that is for the perception, just so people know, if they're new to the community, they know there's things there for the entire community. I'd like to try and expand more the night classes. We're always working on different ideas, but no, it's not going to change anything with funding.
So like
anything for
workout
the
times
seniors.
are the same, it's the same times and.
Oh yeah, if anything, I mean, we might maybe let other people come in a little bit earlier, because I know there's not much activity during like the 3-4 o'clock hour, but other than that, nothing's really changing during the day.
And meals on wheel, all that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah. But it is a community center. It's obviously for everyone in the community.
Yeah,
Why
so
change that?
they said, well, for funding wise, that it has to be recognized as a senior center, and didn't necessarily know if that had to be on the side.
No, I read the grant paperwork last year.
Okay.
It's the money has to go towards programs and activities that
Okay.
benefit that demographic.
Got
And that's the only stipulation. They don't care what's on the sign up front.
it. Okay.
Any other questions or comments for the Mayor, Safety Director? Thank you, Mayor. Reports and communications from the Director of Law.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just want to point out a few things on ordinance number 2019-03 tonight, which is the sign ordinance. This is being put on as emergency due to the fact, well, what this is doing, this is eliminating sign review, the sign review board. Just basically everywhere in the ordinance where we had sign review, we'd replace that with giving the building, the commissioner, the powers that the sign review board did. We're doing this on an emergency basis due to the fact that there was no appropriations in the 2019 budget for the sign review board. And if we went through 3 readings and then it wouldn't go into effect for 30 days after that, we'd have about a 2-month period here where no one can get a sign approved in the city. So that's why we are doing it on an emergency basis. I also want to point out the council, and this will probably be in committee at some point, but Mr. Sack is working on an overhaul of the entire sign ordinance for a brand new sign ordinance, simplifying it quite a bit. So at some point, probably in the next couple of months, that'll be going into committee. So even though we've changed this one tonight, this is probably going to be repealed in its entirety at some point this year. We're going to ask for a new sign ordinance to be adopted by the city. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for the Law Director? Thank you, Mr. Zealy. Communications from the Council President. I have none. Are there any amendments or additions to the agenda? Councilman Gallo.
Yes, I'd like to call into the committee of the whole responsible contracting.
We will add that to new business. We'll add that to new business A, responsible contracting. Any other amendments or additions to the agenda? I'm going to add to new business B, chapter 505, animals and fowl. Are there any other amendments or additions additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to the administrators. Please, Chief Vice.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to just run past a few numbers with everybody, since it's the end of the year, beginning of the new year. We do an annual report, but that report usually doesn't come out until March or April, because there's a lot of different components to it. But I thought I'd give you a thumbnail sketch of how we did last year. So most of the categories of criminal activity that we track, there's 14 of them actually went down or stayed the same. So for example, you know, we had no murders or attempted murders. Rape or sex cases are down significantly, so is robberies. Assaults are down, home burglaries are down, thefts are down, vehicle thefts are down. That's the good news. The bad news is that narcotics continues to be a problem for the city, not just for us, but for this whole region and the country in general. We had 742 narcotics arrests last year. And in 17 we had 521, and if you go back to 2010, we had 105. So over that 9-year period, it's about a 700% increase. Weapons weapons are somewhat steady. We had 39 guns we confiscated in criminal activity last year. The year before that we had 41. So, you know, it's a little bit of a downtick, so that's kind of good information. Jail population, we had 704 people in our jail last year. In 17 we had 596. Felony arrests, which of course are serious criminal activity, we had 195 folks that spent some time in our jail for felonies last year, and 143 from the year before. So those numbers would coincide with the increase in narcotics, because most of the arrests, or a lot of the arrests that we're making, are cocaine, methamphetamine, and opioids. Some of the good news on the narcotics end of things is opioid activity is actually decreasing. I don't want to put the Malik on us, but it's actually decreasing everywhere. Just deaths, for example, in Cairo County in 2017, they had 727, and last year 560. Lake County we had 97 in 2017, and 46 in 18, so that's about a 50% decrease. And then Wickliffe, if you remember last year, or in 2017, we had 12 people that succumbed to overdose, and last year we had 5. So that's a significant reduction. 3 of those were heroin, 1 was fentanyl, and 1 was Suboxone. So we're moving in the right directions. We're not out of the woods yet, and I know I had mentioned in the past or recently that cocaine and methamphetamine are making somewhat of a comeback, and heroin and fentanyl is declining a little bit. So, so far this year, we've confiscated 5 guns. We actually confiscated two pistols over the weekend on traffic stops. So it's a little bit of activity of recent. Today we had a small fire in the middle school. It was an arson. It was set by a 11-year-old child who brought some gasoline in and threw it in the garbage can and set it on fire. One of the instructors or the teachers there was able to put it out. So we did a little investigation, and she confessed to what she had done. We haven't found out the reason yet. She's not a troubled child at all. No contact with law enforcement or disciplinary problems. So we're a little puzzled by her activities. So we're looking at that, and ultimately what we end up doing with that will be a conversation between us and the schools on what we're to charge her with, if anything. Had a house burglary in the 2300 block of Rockefeller. They broke into the attached garage and did not get into the house. Well, those are just some of the activities, and I encourage everybody that some of the activities I just spoke of, you can find on our Facebook page. So I encourage everybody, if you want to get a little bit of a thumbnail sketch about what's going on, usually Lieutenant Hanks or Lieutenant Bush will put a little synopsis on there over the weekend that gives you a kind of a little bit of a heads up on what we're doing. So that would conclude my report, Mr. President.
Any questions or comments for the police chief? Councilman Jaworski.
Chief, just curious, what do you do with the confiscated guns?
Take them down to the Acer-Mettler furnace and toss them in. Before they hit the vat, they disintegrate.
Any further questions or comments for the police chief? Thank you, Chief Ice. Fire Chief Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. As many of you are aware, we've had a rash of structure fires, not only in our city in the last couple weeks, but also on the west end of the county. It's not due to any one cause, just holiday things and people just not being careful. So we implore people to be a little more careful because they're burning up their houses. As you know, one of our biggest concerns is anytime we have a house fire in the city of Wickliffe, we want to make sure somebody has a bed to go home to at night or somewhere to go. And our guys take great pride in making sure that we find and take care of that family, just not only during their fire, but after their fire. The other night, a woman had a house fire. Most of the smoke had gone up in the soffit. We had to pull some ceilings, and it was an elderly woman. And the guys took the time to not only get her power back on in the house, but also wipe off her kitchen table, some of the debris, and get the house cleaned up so that she can inhabit it. And I was very appreciative of their efforts on that. And then finally, as you know, in the fire service in the county, we share a lot of resources that go back and forth every day. And as part of that investigation Chief Ice just talked about, we have brought in the arson dog to detect the accelerants. And that dog did a wonderful job at finding a suspect and taking care of things. And we're grateful for Paintsville Township that maintains that resource for us. As you know, we maintain a hazmat resource for the county. So everyone shares all these things. We go back and forth with assisting each other with the specialized equipment. Obviously, we couldn't afford to have a dog. A lot of people couldn't afford to maintain all these hazmat trucks, dive teams, and stuff like that. So that's just another case of where we're sharing resources and it works out. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Any questions or comments for the Fire Chief? Thank you, Chief Powers. Finance Director Bowles.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just, if you haven't seen your email, I did send out the monthly reports, the year-end reports for December on Friday. And the only other thing I wanted to report to council is that the Treasurer's Office does have our open checkbook up and running, the Wickliffe site, and as of this afternoon, it is updated through the end of December in 2018. And that's all I have.
Any questions or comments? Councilman Jaworski.
For those in the audience, could you please give them an overview of how the city did in this past year?
I think, well, we did better than anticipated, which is a good thing. Our general fund carryover at the end of December was $3.9 million. And the other funds are holding their own. So.
Any further questions or comments for the Finance Director? Thank you, Ms. Olson. City Engineer D'Amico.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing to add to my written report. However, at this time, I'd like to ask, if needed, request a meeting with the appropriate committee to discuss the authorization to proceed with design for the 2019 OPWC projects. That would be the Joint Repair Program and the Green Ridge Drive project. I don't know if we need a committee meeting for that, but we'd like to get started. So we have to advertise for bids for that project in July. So, that's as soon as we can advertise for bids in July. Construction may not occur until the following year, but.
Okay, so that was a 2019.
2019 OPWC projects. There are two of them. They're in my report.
Okay, we'll put them in the committee of the whole. And I'll call a meeting for Monday, January 21st at 7 p.m.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Councilman Gallo.
Thank you, Council President. Pete, I understand that we notified the residents on Maple now about the upcoming OPWC job we have there? Also, okay. Just want to make sure, because I know we had a letter that went out, so.
Joe's gonna report on that.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments for the city engineer? Thank you, Mr. Femika.
Thank you.
City Inspector D'Ambrosio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, in regards to Maple Street, the contractor did deliver letters on Friday to all the residents in that area. They started saw cutting today. We actually did a little bit of work over there, their contract. We cut down the tree lawn trees. There wasn't a contract, they were gonna charge $1,000 a tree. There were 5 trees there, so we took them out. They're gonna remove the stumps, but it's gonna save the city a little bit of money. We also cambered the main sewers there, the sanitary and the storm. And then Pete reviewed them. We found out where there were some bad areas and they're gonna take care of those. What I wanted to report is about WOW communications. Maybe some people are getting calls about WOW. I mean, we're getting a lot of them. We do go to people's houses, we address them all. Some of the bigger concerns are they have to drive their trucks on the tree lawn to do some of the overheads. So where they're making ruts, we are collecting addresses, giving them to Pete. I'm keeping a list. We're contacting the WOW management. They're gonna come back in the spring. They're gonna make all this good. We have told them that come springtime, they're gonna be gone, but we're gonna still be here, and they need to respond to these. So we are working on that. They've been pretty responsive so far on just about everything we've called them on, and if that continues, we should be fine in the spring. And that concludes my report.
Right there. Councilman Sakis.
So spring, they should be all wrapped up around about?
I believe they're hoping to be done within the next month, I think,
Okay.
actually by the end of this.
I get a lot of questions of when they'll be out, so.
Yeah, I mean, the weather kind of slows them down a little bit, but the weather's been good, so they're moving along pretty good.
Councilman Jaworski.
Joe, in your report, you talked about leaf pickup at the parks when possible. How far did you guys get before this last round of snow, or before you had to completely convert the trucks over?
Yeah, well, the last day we did curbside leaf pickup was December 31st. We didn't get as much done in the parks as we hoped. We actually went into the parks today. We brought our vac all in there in Inahar and trying to get some of the fence lines. That last rainstorm that we had, what was it, a week ago, we had 50-degree weather. And we had some flooding issues because the leaves were preventing some of the water from getting to the drainage systems. So we were in there today, the ground was frozen, so we're gonna do it whenever we can.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Yeah, Joe, I forgot to make a copy of the letter that went out to Maple Street. Parking, how is parking to be done if the road be torn up in different sections where it won't?
Yeah, they're going to actually
so
talk to neighbors as far as, one of the conversations was when they take out the aprons, they're gonna do every other apron and talk to your neighbor about parking. We may have some on-street parking, we're not sure yet, but they pretty much.
But they'll be communicating as it's happening?
During the day, we request no parking on the street.
Correct.
Okay.
During the restoration process, we only let the contractor do one half of the street at a time.
Gotcha.
This contractor wants to do one half of the street at a time and then every other driveway so that it makes more convenient for the. We also have arrangements with the police department that they can park on adjacent streets that are able to walk, and they won't get ticketed overnight.
Yeah, okay.
And they're all told that in this letter.
Got it.
Basically, we prepared the letter, and
yeah, I saw it just a few weeks ago.
As far as the aprons go, when they do tear out an apron, by the end of the day, they will have it gravelled so that the resident will have access into their yard.
Okay, great. Councilwoman Saloto.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, so they're gonna talk to the neighbors, or are neighbors supposed to talk to each other, or? 'Cause that doesn't-
Neighbors talk to each other.
Right, right, so it'll be every other.
They're gonna try to do that. In the past, we basically took out half the street and say, talk to your neighbor across the street. But they want to try to alternate.
I
It's
think
great.
that sounds like a great idea,
A lot
because
of
I
times
remember
it works
the
out.
park a few streets away time, that's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments for the city
President?
inspector?
I'm sorry, just to remind me, he mentioned about WOW. We handle the soliciting permits for the city, and usually we get about 3 or 4 a year. We've gotten about 15 for WOW, like all in the last 2 weeks. So the purpose of that is you're gonna see canvassers walking around the city trying to sell our residents the new cable. So if you get calls, that's what it's for. So it's, they have a permit, it's legitimate. We cannot prevent them from doing that, so.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments for the Service Director? Thank you, Mr. D'Ambrosio. Building Commissioner Sack.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. In your package, you should have my annual report for 2018. If there's any questions, feel free to contact me. Also, the engineer and myself met with RIA for the CBDG grants. I will be writing writing something in the connection to get that information out there for so people can apply for the grant, the roof grants, and it's income-based. And I will also spread that literature in the community center also. That's all I have, Mr. Council President.
Any questions or comments for the building? Councilman Gallo.
Thank you, Council President. Ray, speaking about WOW now, I know that we were responsible for all the installation, all of the inspections. How is it going across so far? Are you getting called out on any kind of violations? Are they doing anything, have they been red tagged at all during this process?
Just, we had one problem when they were stretching the cable that they pulled a service off, a communication service off the thing. And Joe contacted them, and also by 5 o'clock they had it fixed.
Okay.
So I mean, they're right on the money on everything, but we haven't had any.
As far as installations, nothing that stuck out or
nothing,
sloppy work, anything like that? Okay.
Nothing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Any further questions or comments for the building commissioner? Thank you, Mr. Sack. Recreation Director Stock.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just one comment to add to my report. I wanted to thank those who came to the Winterfest last Saturday. We didn't get quite the snow that we wanted, but we still had a good time with anybody who was there. So thank you for your guys' support with that.
Any questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Mr. Stock. Economic Development Director Rick.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. One of the things that John mentioned that I would like to also mention is CRA. We have been working towards completing the required attachments that need to be submitted to the state. And I believe we're at a point where a meeting with the committee would be appropriate. And then also, a request has been made for the City of Wickliffe to participate in a 3-party coalition to apply for EPA Brownfields assessment grant. This assessment grant is for to perform environmental phase 1 and phase 2 on potential brownfield sites, also identifying sites that may be eligible for the state of Ohio's abandoned gas station funds. There's no cost for the city to participate. The benefit is potentially receiving funds. The lead would be, it's three parties. The lead would be the Lake County, the Port Authority, and with Peter Zahersky serving as the project manager. The request is for the City of Wickliffe to be a second participant, and the other participant would be John Rogers, representing the Lake County Land Reutilization Corporation. And the grant application is due by January 31st. It's not necessary for resolution, but I certainly would want concurrence from council.
So you want us to entertain a motion for you to apply for that grant?
Actually, the city doesn't even apply for the grant. It's more that making you aware of it, and I believe it would be more of potentially a resolution for concurrence. Or I asked the Burgess and Nybo, who is working on it with us, for a sample resolution of just basically support or concurrence that we are participating in the coalition. I have not received something like that yet. He stated to me that it is not necessary for us to, since we're not applying, it's the lead that would make the application, as long as the city is willing to be a participant in the coalition, is all. So I don't know if that would be the appropriate resolution to approve being a participant.
I don't think a motion, if anyone wants to make a motion to participate in this grant.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Jaworski, seconded by Councilman Gallo, to participate in this kind of grant again.
It's called EPA Brownfields Assessment Grant.
EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Cantala?
Yes.
Bogo?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Kowski?
Yes.
Levon?
Yes.
Sakis?
Yes.
Saloto? Yes.
Any questions or comments for the Academic Development Director? Councilman Jaworski.
Monica, you had mentioned wanting to meet on the CRA, would you be able to do that? Was it finance committee? I'm sorry.
I was gonna call it. Is there anything else? Anything else? I'm sorry about that.
I forgot that we reported it out. Yeah. We just thought that last time.
We will add CRA to Monday's January 21st meeting at 7 p.m. as part of the Finance Committee, as well as with the 2019 OPWC projects.
Great.
Is there any other further questions or comments for the Academic Development Director? Thank you, Mr.
What time is it?
It's 7 p.m. as that meeting started.
Okay, thank you.
I'll now open the floor for audience participation. If anyone would like to address Wickliffe City Council, please stand, state your name and address for the clerk's record. Each person will have a 5-minute maximum amount of time. Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? Yes, sir.
Jeff Walsh, 1846 Rockefeller. My question is, I would like a legitimate reason for not renewing my commission, Mayor. Your excuse that I'm disruptive doesn't seem to be legitimate to me. I believe, from what I understand, you feel threatened by me because of the Wickliffe connection you have with Wickliffe Forever and Rock the Mansion, about how you went to the law director, had the ordinance written up for the alcohol, had it passed, allowed Wickliffe Forever, which you and other council people have connections to allow to sell alcohol before the ordinance went through. I asked the police, the ordinance takes 30 days to go through. The ordinance had not gone past those 30 days. You were under the 30-day limit. I asked the police that they were aware that alcohol was being sold illegally in the park, and they said yes, and they said they were not to do anything about it by your request. And I believe that's why I called you out on that, and I believe that's what it's all about. And it's all personal.
Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City?
What, you don't have anything to say about that? You can't answer my question?
I gave my explanation during the committee meeting. This isn't the time for a discussion on this. This behavior is part of the reasoning why.
I think I'm entitled to an answer.
And you just got it. You can listen to the minutes from the last meeting. Mr. Corrigan recorded it. It's on Facebook. You probably heard it. Decision was made. We're moving on.
Would anyone else like to? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Michael Nadolski. I live at 1532 Maple Street. I got a neighbor that's got a rooster. And I've been dealing with, well, had it, about 4 of them, and they're down to 1 now, but I hear this thing every day, okay? I've been hearing it for like 3 years. And, so anyways, I would like the city to maybe help me out with this, okay? I don't know what to do about it, all right? I mean, I shouldn't have to listen to a rooster all day. I was actually gonna bring like a speaker in here and play it, because I got like 3 minutes of him one day, and it just, I don't know if anybody knows about a rooster, but they, as soon as they get sunrise, they bark, and they bark all day long, okay? And, I don't know, I had the health department look at it today. They went over there today and looked at it. And I didn't know, when I first started all this in January, the beginning of January, I didn't know what they were doing, you know what I mean? I figured they'd have eggs, but I didn't know if they were like, maybe having rooster fights or whatever, I don't know. But I just wanted the police to know that I know I'm supposed to call the police if I hear this rooster, which I have once, but I'll never falsify if I don't hear the bird. If I don't hear the bird, I'm okay with it. But if I hear the bird, I'm calling. And I just don't want to be harassed by the police thinking that, you know, maybe they put it away or something. But this thing does go off a lot. When they have it outside, it goes off a lot.
And I've heard other complaints from other folks on the street, I know I relayed
I
that.
talked to you when you were running for mayor
Yeah.
on it.
And I told the building commissioner about it, and we gave him the address, and I don't know if he communicated that with the police, but it's, I mean, I don't know why it's not taken care of yet. Well, it should be. Roosters or chickens?
They have both.
So they both? 'Cause I think
They have
it's-
both.
I thought it was just for chickens.
No, they have both. They have roosters and chickens there. Okay, I got a picture of it. If anybody wants to see it, I got a picture of it, okay?
I thought we were just allowed to have chickens and not roosters, but.
That's what I
Unless
was.
it looked.
Well, just looking at the ordinance, there's no restriction on roosters.
Okay.
That's why that ordinance is gonna be committed.
And I want to thank the people that did get a hold of me when I
Okay.
sent out all the emails to talk to me about it.
Yeah, that's why I was understanding it was just chickens, that's why I thought it was, I thought we were
No,
gonna do a little
it's
more.
roosters. It's,
Okay,
it's a wow.
yeah.
Sir, were you the gentleman I was corresponding with?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I will. And I talked to a few of you guys. I'm a lot better shape than I was 9 years ago when I came here. I'm asking for some help now, you know, I'm like,
Yeah, keep calling if it's a. If it's a
right here,
nuisance,
I'm gonna
call,
call,
yeah.
okay? And it's winter time, you don't hear it as much, you know, but I mean, in the summertime, I'll work 10 hours a day, 10 hours at work, and I'll come home and have a cookout, and I gotta hear a rooster all night, you know what I mean? It gets old.
Councilman Jaworski?
So,
Seconds, I'm sorry. Apologies.
so if the rooster does, you know, crack a dawn, cock-a-doodle-doo, I mean, that's order, I mean, and if it's disrupting, is that, I know it seems like a weird question, but is that an ordinance?
That's our barking howling ordinance, you know.
And they go all day,
An
they
animal-
don't do the morning.
It can be cited criminally if, same thing of a dog, if a dog doesn't stop barking, annoying neighbors. I mean, there is a misdemeanor ordinance, I believe. Is that the barking howling?
And there's a lot of cities that have an ordinance
Yeah.
on these things.
Correct,
On
yeah.
roosters. I mean, we're talking Perry Township, Perry way out there where your neighbors are way away from you. This
Right.
rooster is probably 2 feet from my yard, 20 feet from my house.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Would anybody else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Mr. Kramer?
Bill Fainrich, 549 Esmar Lane. A couple questions. Carryover from last year's 3.9 million, you said. What was it from the previous year?
4.1.
All right, so it just dropped 200, all right, okay. OPWC projects. Letters went out on, in this example, on Friday, and work started today. So it was over the weekend?
Saw cutting.
Just saw cutting
Okay.
started
Well,
today.
the reason why I ask is what's the minimum notification timeframe?
We try to give them a week.
Okay.
Because, but we allowed the contractor to get out and start saw cutting pavement, they weren't gonna disrupt traffic or keep people out of their driveways.
Okay.
So we thought that was fair to let them
Okay, 'cause
start mobilizing on
Okay,
site.
because the reason why I ask is because when work was done on my street a number of years ago, notification was given on Monday and work started on Tuesday. A lot of elderly people on the street, they had no warning to try to find somewhere to park.
No, we didn't want to put anyone out of their driveways or parking, that's why we let them
Right, but
mobilize.
that's what I mean, in the contract, is there something that stipulates
There
a
isn't
minimum
no,
timeframe?
it's just a rule of thumb that we try to give the residents a week to be notified of impending,
Okay.
traffic
Okay,
problems.
thank you. Is somebody on top of that with the contractor?
Yes.
Because I know that's a rule of thumb, but like I said, my
I
street.
got my letter
it's
this
one
morning
day.
today. I live on Maple Street, I got it today,
Again, that's a
in
concern.
the mail.
That's a
It's in
concern.
my mailbox,
Why-
today. I got it in my pocket here,
Well,
actually.
if you have people on the street, like, for example,
No
there are
one's
14
out of their driveway, no one's being put out. All we're doing is doing some soft cutting of the pavement this week. So no one's being put out of their driveway until possibly next week when they start up, weather dependent.
Okay,
All they're doing is mobilizing, bringing in barrels, orange barrels, this and that. No one's being put out of their driveway.
I'm not
And
saying
no
they
one will
are.
be put out of their driveway.
Okay, again, I'm not saying that they
It's
are.
all good.
I'm just talking about minimum time frame. My street, it was less than 24 hours.
Okay.
He received something today, if something impacted him. We have a lot of elderly people on my street, and I'm sure throughout the city,
Right.
they have the same thing. So again, it's if somebody's staying on top of this, so to make sure that it's a week or something sufficient to give elderly people and others time to be able to accommodate that.
I believe we are.
Okay, like I said, my street, it did not happen.
Okay, I apologize. When was that?
Like a couple years ago?
Okay, that was the joint repair program, right?
Right.
And no one was put out of their driveway during that?
We had elderly people who had less than 18 hours to try to find somewhere to park.
They were not put out of their driveway?
I'm not talking driveway, I'm talking they need to go places and come and do things, and the closest street is for elderly
We
people.
maintained traffic on that project, Bill. The entire project, we maintained traffic to the driveways. I mean, unless we were doing a joint repair right in front of someone's driveway.
So an elderly person on my street has to walk all the way down to Sterling. That's what they needed to do because they couldn't park on the street. They couldn't even get to their house. That's my point.
I'll have to look into that.
That's what happened.
Okay.
That's, again, my concern is this is being enforced to make sure that, okay.
We'll make sure of that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Just curious, Joe, you asked a question of the mayor about the signage on the senior center. Is there like a threshold of when council, sounds to me like council was not notified. Is that something that, there's a threshold when council needs to be notified before something happens? Just curious.
For me to spend money outside of the budget or enter into agreements with certain contracts. Other than that, I'm the CEO of the city, and I can make a lot of decisions without going to council.
Okay.
There's a certain dollar amount that he spends that he has to go to council for. It's 25,000 this time, right?
Right, my question is not authorization, my question is notification. So that council's prepared, so when he gets 3 calls over the weekend, he knows to be able to tell us.
There's a lot of decisions I have to make that I don't have time to run past anybody but the directors. And that's just part of the day-to-day. There's a lot of decisions to make. They gotta be made quick. I can't check with 7 people every time I wanna do something.
Gotcha. And you'll post these on your site or the city site so that people are made aware of it?
Made aware of what?
Of the change, why it happened, stuff like that?
Nothing else changed. The sign changed.
You can answer it. Any more questions?
No.
Well, I just wanted to say something about that. So, to be honest, this probably was a decision that upset maybe some seniors, you know, so the council people will probably get calls about it. So I think what he's saying is, if you could notify us, I understand it's your decision, you're the CEO, you get to make these decisions every day, but can you let us know? So that we, with a good explanation about why you decided to do it, so that we would have something to say, because as residents call us, they don't always call you. So it would be helpful if you could just let us know. I totally understand you have a lot of decisions to make. I don't envy you. You have a lot to do every day. But
for things that I do feel are important enough, I do. This I didn't. I apologize for that, but
right.
I did it and forgot about it.
I think what I'm just going to go ahead and say is that, you know, I think seniors really relish the fact that Wickliffe brought them a senior center, you know, and so that was just kind of a really cool thing that Wickliffe did for their senior community. So I think that the seniors really enjoy it, and it's sort of their place. So I'm sure there were some that were very upset that it now became, you know, just like a community place, and it kind of diminished the fact that it was their place. And I don't know, you know, your reasoning is probably very sound. I mean, yes, it would be nice to use it for other reasons, but I think, you know, the sign change probably upset people. And so it would be great if you could just let us know about stuff like that. That would be great. I agree with you.
Councilman Bowler.
My committee is the senior center there. I don't know if it's the center that on the committee or the seasoned citizens or
that would be the community.
Okay, yeah. That's at the committee. We were supposed to have a meeting on Tuesday. We didn't have that due to, she had a couple issues with the director, the new director. So we haven't met this month, but as soon as we meet this month, I'm sure that will be the hot topic. And I can report on what they feel. Other than that, I was approached by 2 people that weren't happy about it. So, but I said I'm not going to make any comments until we all meet together. So that's all I can add to this.
Councilman Jaworski.
Just for the record, I do want to point this out, and Councilperson Koski and myself were the only individuals on council at the time when we built the facility, but it was built as a community center that happened to also house a senior center. It was a dual-purpose building. It wasn't constructed solely for the seniors. So.
Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, I'll mark audience participation complete. Any committee reports? Move on to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2018-72, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio to transfer a sum of money from the general fund to the Safety Services Fund. Second reading. Ordinance number 2019-01, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Biello, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-01 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Biello, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to adopt ordinance 2018-01 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Ordinance number 2019-02, an ordinance authorizing compensation for the position of Chief of Police of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-02 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
No.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Who said second? Okay. Moved by Councilman Biello, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to adopt ordinance 2019-02 as presented. Discussion? Councilman Jaworski.
This, if I'm not mistaken, is the resolution that would allow the police chief to retire and then rehire, correct?
Correct.
I'm against this. I think that it's a policy that the city has had where you would not, where we have not hired anyone back in their current and existing role. I'm very much against that. We had other employees who could have deserved it, but we had not done that in the past, and I don't think we should start doing it now.
Any further discussion? Mayor.
I'd like to add that I disagree with Councilman Jaworski. Our police chief has done a fine job, and I feel confident he will continue to do so for the next few years of his career.
Any further discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
No.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Ordinance number 2019-03, an ordinance amending chapter 1161 signs of the codified ordinances of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Biello, seconded by Councilman Bogo, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2019-03 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Biello, seconded by Councilman Sakis, to adopt ordinance 2019-3 as presented. Discussion? Mr. Sack, the timeline of having the new restructured ordinance, or the new restructured chapter, would done maybe March, middle March?
Beginning of March.
Okay. Any further discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Bogo.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto. Yes.
Seeing no resolutions, we'll move on to other legislation. Miscellaneous. Entertain a motion for adoption. Adjournment.
Make a motion for adjournment, Mr. President.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bello, second by Councilman Sakis to adjourn. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Deanna
Yes.
Bogo,
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Sakis.
Yes.
Saloto.